Why 11.0 will be Warcraft's biggest announcement yet. Yeah, that's right. Tell me that's not a cliffhanger title. Yeah, get ready. Like I said, get ready. Because 11.0 is just around the corner. We're going to get that announcement soon. Let's see why this announcement is going to be so big and grand. Soul Breezy here. Let's see what he has to say.
Hey, it's Soul with another video, and today we're going to talk about what is next in the world
Mythic today?
of Warcraft.
No, heroic.
I would love it if you were to give this video a like.
Time Rifts and Raid, yeah, that's right.
Of course, and to subscribe for more coverage. So let's start with, well, who is next, actually? As you can tell, the dashing character you see here on screen
Thrall,
is Thrall,
yeah.
the former war chief of the Horde, one-time Earth Warder, full-time Orc, husband, and father. Now, why
like
are we
three bosses
talking about Thrall? Well, he happens to be part of the key art to usher in BlizzCon 2023, which is going to happen later this year, and at $300 per ticket, we'd better get more than just a backpack. I expect to open it up and inside get some crazy swag and a plate of chicken and waffles and maybe a pair of concert tickets. But back to Thrall. Why is he on the key art, and should we care? A lot of folks are saying, yeah, we should care because the Warcraft character on the key art gives us a hint of what is coming in World of Warcraft's next expansion, which is expected to be announced in November at BlizzCon during open ceremonies. That the setup pretty much demands it, actually. I mean, think about it. It's WoW's 10th expansion to launch probably sometime in 2024 for the game's 20th anniversary. It's kind of a head theory that I'm stuck on, and I'm going to shove it down your throat. Before we go any further, though, I don't want to string you along.
Wait, I didn't think about it. It's going to launch. That's right. It's going to launch on Blizzard's 20th anniversary? Is that true? We just talked about the 19th. Yeah, so I guess so. Yeah, it would launch on the year of the 20th anniversary of this game. Holy shit, that's crazy to think about. So this is an important expansion. Not to mention, it's also important to the future of the game. Because, honestly, because Blizzard missed so badly on Shadowlands, one good expansion, and by that I mean WoW, I had to stop blurbs, will, by that I mean Dragonflight, will not save WoW. This next expansion has to be good, too.
I'm going to give you the TLDR now. We're just going to make a bunch of predictions.
This expansion is going to be big.
I
think so
honestly
too.
Have no idea
I'll talk to you guys a little bit about it.
Expansion might be about, but I'm coming at this with the energy of, hey, dude, we're all just kind of sitting around having some snacks and hanging out. So we're going to pull at some threads and pick up some breadcrumbs, tap into the copium, and have fun speculating what could be in store for WoW's biggest expansion announcement yet. Never mind what it's about or even if it'll be good, I just think the WoW team is going to try and make this a very big deal. I invite you to share your own thoughts and theories, rebuttals, and of course, the WoW is dead comments. Let's go back to Thrall again. Thrall being here tells us a lot, and also a lot of nothing. It's a lot when you consider past BlizzCons. BlizzCon 9 in 2021 had no new expansion announcements, so featuring Bolvar and a Heroes of the Storm version of Deathwing, that doesn't communicate much. The last actual BlizzCon feels like it was about 50 years ago, but it was in 2019, and it featured Sylvanas.
Yeah.
The expansion announced was Shadowlands. Battle for Azeroth did its best to foreshadow its next expansion, and featuring Sylvanas locked in the theory that...
Was BFA that bad? I know they messed up the whole the armor sets in the beginning. What the hell were they called? But was BFA that bad? Yeah, I don't think so. Actually, looking back, I don't think it was that bad. Maybe because Shadowlands was so shit that I kind of missed BFA.
We would be sticking to her story. 2018's key art featured Saurfang. Battle for Azeroth previewed the year before, so there was no surprise seeing him. In 2017, when Battle for Azeroth was first announced, the key art featured Jaina, which didn't give a very strong direction which way we'd be going, and in 2016 it also featured Sylvanas after Legion's...
Jaina played a pretty big role in the beginning of it, so that makes sense.
...announcement and launch. In hindsight, we can make some connections that, sure, okay, the person featured in the art is at least involved in the upcoming expansion in a prominent way. These characters have been high-profile NPCs, they've been raid bosses, and spoiler alerts, one of them died. But the chosen character isn't an obvious indicator either. Saurfang was chosen as the key art after Battle for Azeroth's announcement, so there were no surprises there. If Saurfang was chosen instead of Jaina for the key art the year before in 2017, that would have raised a lot of questions as to what Saurfang's involvement would be, and the speculation would go on for months. With Thrall as the upcoming frontman, we've got to ask, is he going to be a raid boss? Is the expansion going to be centered around him? Will he be killed?
You know, with Thrall, so the first thing I think of when I think of Thrall is like the elements and shit, right? So I think of the elements and stuff, and I think maybe there's some kind of elemental stuff going on in these new lands that are discovered, because I still think we're getting a pirate expansion, right? I think we're getting a pirate expansion. That Night Elf boy is coming, the one who explored the other side of Azeroth, he's coming, and he's going to tell us, look, I discovered all these new lands. We got to go check them out. Now, what role Thrall is going to play in that exploration? Maybe he leads the vessels out there and shit. He hones in on the elements and maybe splits the fog that's currently covering it. I don't know. Do we lose this expansion? Who knows? But I mean, picture this. Pirate Man comes in here. Let's set the mood. Let's set the mood. Yeah. Set sail in the new pirate World of Warcraft pirate expansion. I don't know. World of Warcraft, the open seas, whatever you want to think of, however you're going to call it, right? We set sail, right? Our Night Elf boy comes. He says, come to me. Come with me. Come on me. We need to set sail and check out the other side of Azeroth. Thrall says the elements are calling him. He senses something on the other side as well, and we all need to venture out. Enter your new shipyard, where you get a starter ship. Yeah, you get your starter ship, right? And it's just basic at the beginning, like our dragon riding mounts, but this is water riding mounts. You get your little crew together, maybe, customize it a little bit, but you don't have much yet. You're going to pick up customizations throughout the expansion for your ship. And you know what else this ship becomes? Somewhat of a player housing. Maybe you could hang your trophies on the wall, hang the wing of some dragon you killed off the side. Maybe you got I don't know, the head of a badass boss, maybe from Gruul or something, I don't know, hanging off the front of your ship. Yeah, this is like the player housing that you've been asking for, but not the one that you've always wanted. But hey, it's good enough, because there's a deck below and people can come and visit you, and you could customize that shit all you want. Anyways, you ride off to the other side of Azeroth, you're playing with your friends. Yeah, obviously Outlaw Rogues are going to be really popular, and there has been a lot of rogue reworks going on. Hint, hint, I don't think that's for any, for no reason at all. I think Blizzard knows Outlaw Rogues will be very popular in a pirate expansion. Anyways, we venture off to the other side. Thrall uses his powers of the elements to split the fog, and we're on the other side now. It's a huge continent, the most massive addition to the game ever. This continent is not the Dragon Isles. This is not an island. This is a continent, right? This thing is huge. I mean, you get that sense of exploration like you've only felt in Vanilla WoW because of how massive this new continent is. Venturing out, questing, doing your thing. It gives you some hardcore WoW vibes, and that you feel like a small player in a big world once again. My friends, I give you World of Warcraft, the Seven Seas expansion. I don't know what the fuck they would call it, but anyways, that's my little humdinger there, my little pitch on what I think this next expansion could be. Shipyards and all that shit. Don't feel bad about what happened in Warlords of Draenor. This is going to be real ships, real deal. All right, enough about that. That was like a fucking 20-minute rant.
Can happen. Of course, I could also
WoW
feel
basically.
the commenters right now saying that, okay, no way, Thrall of all people would never die. Chris Metzen would never let that happen. They'd sooner turn Thrall into like a Titan spirit to galvanize his eternal legacy or something.
Who would
On
be
the
the
flip
end
side,
boss?
maybe Thrall could be given the best and most ceremonious goodbye ever.
Let
A
me think about it.
grand and final send-off, a glorious and heroic death, or to become the martyr that jolts Azeroth into action. It's not a stretch to say that the WoW marketing team would rather not
jailer
let
in a
just
pirate hat. That's
picture
the end boss.
spoil an expansion, but hey, it's all gravy if it gets people talking about it. Hence, we have Thrall as the key art, and we've got like 4 months or so to think this over, make more speculation videos, and have a very lively leak season. But if the key art happened to feature Terralion or Ilaria, well, okay, that would be way too obvious. That wouldn't be any fun at all. So, 10th expansion, 20 years of WoW, and with a publicly known Chris Metzen back on WoW's leadership team at some capacity. Oh, and we have Thrall, of course. The next expansion.
Yeah, I've said this before. Chris Metzen is Thrall. Thrall is Chris Metzen, and he's back. So no surprise that so is Thrall.
Exactly about him, but whatever happens to him, Thrall, ought to be huge. All right, so let's pivot over to Dragonflight.
Are we on?
What we've seen and what we currently know. I'm trying to establish a pattern and a conclusion that by the time this expansion's over, we'll have completed these major arcs for all of the flights. The Black Flights got a lot of exposition and they got a raid tier. The Blues got a very nostalgic and worthwhile experience via questing. And I'm pretty confident that the Bronze story will reach its apex in the upcoming patch. We've learned about the War of the Scaleborn book coming in the end of October, just days before BlizzCon, by the way. The book itself is a flashback of how it all went down between the Aspects and the Incarnates, with Alexstrasza and Vironoth as the likely central characters in this book. And by my estimates, it'll arrive while we're in the middle of patch 10.1.7. If the WoW team is following its own pattern, we can expect the story from this patch to lead directly into patch 10.2, which I'm going to guess will arrive sometime a little bit after November, with the timing that respects the holiday season and the new year. With all of that,
that's going to give you a new raid tier, so they're going to have to worry about Race to World first during the holidays.
Probably have us defeat at least one more Primal Incarnate. One part of my prediction is based on all the flights completing their stories by a certain time. It's also based on the 11.0 expansion launching by the end of 2024, all to line up with their usual plans for a 2-year expansion timeline and launching WoW's 10th expansion during its 20-year anniversary. It's all nice and pretty.
Yeah.
If the WoW team continues following its usual pattern, we can expect a 10.2.5 and a 10.2.7, but are we sure, really? Because to be fair, we don't even have a 2024 roadmap yet. But we can make really far-out estimates of a 10.3 patch and Season 4 sometime before summer. And if they can squeeze it in, a bonus season, just like with Shadowlands before the next expansion launches.
Yeah, maybe like a faded rating will come back again. I think faded rating was actually a success. I think that was actually something cool. The mount, the slime cat mount, and reintroducing all the raiding content, because what it did is it brought people back. It was like pre-expansion content at that point. Maybe you hadn't played the entire expansion, but you want to see the raids. You want to kind of quickly catch up on the story. That's what faded raiding kind of offered, and it offered great gear, something else for people to do that had been doing the expansion the entire time. So I thought faded raids were pretty cool.
Again, just a guess. So where does the green dragonflight fit in all of this? We can easily imagine that they'll get attention somewhere between the blues and the bronzes with an impactful story without giving us a full dungeon or raid. The story could just be slotted into 10.2, just like how the blue questline took place during 10.1. That might not be enough for Night Elf or Emerald Dream fans. Maybe something grander could take place during 10.2.5. If 10.2.7 is another prelude, the flight's storylines are neatly lined up for a big conclusion against the Incarnates in 10.3. A schedule like this fits, but obviously with so many ifs to get through, it's wobbly as all heck, so again, just another reminder, we're just having fun and speculating, okay? But even if this fits, there's a problem to keep in mind. Now, again, I'm assuming that WoW's next expansion is going to be announced at BlizzCon with a release about a year later.
Yeah.
That much kind of makes sense, because we've been there. However, that also means that we would be learning about what is next in the world of Warcraft during patch 10.1.7. That's really early. It's super early, all due to the timing of Dragonflight having launched in late November. So now nothing makes sense. In what world is the WoW team okay with announcing an expansion when they're barely halfway through telling its current story? It's a question that threatens to bring most of these theories crumbling down, and it opens the door for an expansion announcement pushed back
I
to
don't think
spring
they care.
2024, or for Dragonflight itself to be a longer expansion. Take that as you will. Perhaps folks in the comments have something to say about that possibility, but here I'm going to stay on course with my current theory. Let's take a look at Thrall again, one of the lead protagonists of the entire Warcraft.
Honestly, it doesn't matter how long an expansion is, as long as the content keeps rolling. So if it is long, maybe we do get a 10.3, 0.7 or something patch. You never know. But I don't care about how long the expansion is going to last, as long as the content keeps rolling out. That'll be fine. Would you ever leave your job and go full-time streamer? I have to start making some real money here. I mean, if I started making real money here, hell yeah. But, we're not doing that yet.
Franchise. Obviously, he's changed
Sam's
a
got
lot
bills to
over
pay.
the years. It could be that the key art is about more than just Thrall or who he is, but what he represents. We can look at him as a character and a franchise that has been around for a really long time, 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
Here's where we were, here's where we're going. It's a message maybe that perhaps all of WoW needs to experience this sort of upgrade. For the longest time, I've been a skeptic that there should be a big high-def upgrade or a world update because the scale of doing something like that is just too much. It's a personal opinion. As someone who still hasn't even appreciated the Cataclysm update by playing through the updated zones, I'm going to react the same way if zones are updated yet again. But the question isn't whether you or I
There's been so many, we've reviewed a lot of them. There's been so many new in-game assets uploaded into the game that I do think some new revamps are coming. And they've already confirmed that things like, Undercity revamp, Lordaeron / Undercity revamp. They've talked about Gilneas revamps, maybe even Silvermoon getting an update finally. You'd be able to fly in fucking Silvermoon. That's ridiculous that we still can. These things are coming. I don't know if how expansion specific they're going to be to the next expansion in terms of like being a feature of the next expansion, like for like Cataclysm, the world revamp was in Cataclysm. But I definitely think those things are coming.
Or if it's even good, but is
WoW
this
Rebirth.
the possible direction WoW can go? So let's go with this crazy idea that the world is given the same treatment as the updates to Arathi Basin and Warsong Gulch from a few years ago. Environments that are dolled up, but navigating it will still feel familiar. Maybe the boundaries that separate zones are given another touch-up to feel natural, maybe given a bit of that Dragon Isles treatment with elevations and depth. Old fires can finally be put out, new buildings to show growth and regrowth, but nothing too major. Perhaps the Barons could still have manned outposts, but all the soldiers there are just chilling,
spinning.
and now they're having dragon racing tournaments, for example. Now, I'm not trying to suggest a big world overhaul that would take away what lots of players crave in a new expansion, namely a brand new land to explore, and preferably they want one with the scale and scope of the Dragon Isles. So a reskin of the world, but what we do in it is anyone's guess. Like, will we get an Azeroth world war of Void versus Light?
Pretty.
Will we end up exploring the uncharted lands across the sea?
Maybe once Microsoft acquires them, they'll go through and do shit like this. I don't know if Blizzard has the manpower for this yet.
Will we reunite
Do I like
Nathanos with
PvP? No.
Sylvanas? Probably
Not really.
But whatever the
I've
case,
done it, though.
I'm not sure. But I've at least convinced myself of the following. The next expansion will, in its own way, celebrate 20 years of the World of Warcraft. I can see heavy emphasis, super heavy emphasis on nostalgia with revisiting old characters, follow up on locations left alone for years, but still
Scarlet
stopping
Monastery.
short of redoing quest lines that would take away from the usual lands to explore. Think Cataclysm, but with a different sort of balancing act. I can envision Thrall on a boat with his family sailing off to a new adventure, and we join them. I can see the advanced races of the world divided not by faction but by belief over who's going to take Azeroth to a brighter future. The Light, or the Void, or the Titans, or the Murloc gods, or something. So I had fun talking this up. I appreciate the listen, and I would love to read what you have to say.
Don't tease
like
me.
the video, subscribe for more coverage, catch me live, and I'll catch you later. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.
Nice. Nice video. Yeah, Sam, if Microsoft deal goes through, WoW is gonna come to Game Pass and or Xbox. I would love that because currently I pay for both. So I would love that. Look, if WoW does come to Game Pass, I think it'd be great for the game's population. I think you'd get tons. Oh my God, hundreds of thousands, if not a million, new players into the game because that one barrier to entry for sure for WoW, and it's a big barrier, is the monthly payment. People, but Game Pass, people are already paying for it. If they get a WoW sub included with that, that would be great. That would be great.